The Rams pick up 2 potential defensive starters in the second day of the NFL draft. The Chargers boost their pass rush by looking to USC. Speaking of USC, a 3rd Trojan got scooped up with the last pick on day 2. Good morning, I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos Morning Report. It is April 29th, 2023. Of course, we're going to talk a lot about the NFL draft, but there is a lot to talk about overall. So if you like being in the know about LA sports, clickety-clack the like button, clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And by all means, comment. Again, too much to talk about. Join in. So before we go through the news and notes and look at the scoreboard, you know, when I was a younger man and actually marginally presentable to look at, when we broke up with a girl that we really did not like, we referred to it as being dissed and dismissed. The Lakers dissed and dismissed the Memphis Grizzlies last night. They end game series with a 40-point beatdown, 125-85. It was an ass-kicking so profound we don't even need to talk strategy. They just whooped that ass. And matter of fact, about being dissed and dismissed, LeBron James left the court and the bench with 14 seconds left to go, presumably because he didn't want to shake the Grizzlies' hands after the series. And I don't blame him. I don't. The Grizzlies were poor sports from stem to stern on this. D'Angelo Russell scored a career playoff high, I should say, 31 points. James added 22. They get an extra day or two to kick back and wait to see who wins the Golden State-Sacramento series. Meanwhile, Dodgers 7, St. Louis 3. Mookie Betts and Miguel Vargas homered. Dustin May improves to 3-1. Today, the Dodgers are going to play St. Louis again at 6. Clayton Kershaw is 4-1 with a 2.32 ERA. Jordan Montgomery counters for the Cards with a 2-3 record, a 3.81 ERA. Edmonton plays the Kings at 7 o'clock. This is Game 6 of the first round series of the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. The Kings are on the brink of being eliminated. They have to show up tonight. Edmonton leads the series 3-2. There's going to be some line juggling in LA. We'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. And the Galaxy will play at Orlando City at 4:30. Midfielder Ricky Puig will not be available due to yellow card accumulation. To be frank, the Rams were a mixed bag for my taste yesterday. Can't get around it. They made their first pick in the second round, and the Scribes absolutely adored it, and for me, not so much. And I'll tell you why. I don't understand the pick. It goes completely against the way that they do things. They took a guard, Steve Avila, out of TCU. CBS gives the pick an A. Agile, versatile, could play anywhere in the interior, even center. What a prudent pick. SB Nation gave it an A-, a bruiser, a starter for many years. The Athletic, a B+. ESPN, just slot him with Logan Bruss for the next decade to form a nucleus. Okay, so why do I have a problem? It's because Sean McVay doesn't like to play rookie offensive linemen. Actually, no, let me take that back. Sean McVay does not play rookie offensive linemen. He doesn't do it. So how does this help the team now when they were 5-12 last year if he's not going to play? How does this help the team that has no defense to speak going into day 2? Right? Either Sean McVay bites the bullet and plays this guy to help the offensive line, or the Rams did not get a starter here when they need starters from the front of the draft all the way to the back. The Rams lost 16 players from last year's roster to free agency. You can't jerk around with future prospects. You have to do whatever you can to help the here and now, or the entire season goes up in flames. So either he plays now, or this season, The Rams followed that, though, by trading back twice in the third round. This was also prudent. They traded back with Houston. They traded back with the Giants. Originally, because we didn't know what the Rams were getting back, thank you for nothing, ESPN, it was a little puzzling. So I don't want to go overboard on the detail. The trade with the Texans kept them in the third round just a little later, but LA moved up from the sixth round to the fifth round, okay? They also added a fourth round pick and stayed in the third round with their trade with the Giants, okay? So they stay in the third round, just a little further back. Byron Young of Tennessee was the first of the two picks. He is an edge rusher that gets mixed grades. ESPN loves him. They think he's the immediate replacement for Leonard Floyd. Others say he needs a little work, but he should get a legit shot at being a difference maker on the defense. And CBS, honestly, they just think he's a one-dimensional speed rusher. The Rams followed that up by adding a defensive tackle from Wake Forest, Kobe Turner. People like Turner because he's a fighter against both the pass and the run. One went so far as to say Kobe Turner could be a star. To be frank, this is why I don't like giving team grades, as you always see all over the interwebs. I think the first three rounds, you have to get starters. If you do not get starters, or at least a franchise quarterback, you blew that pick. So I believe two of the three picks will be starters as soon as next season, or this season, I should say. The Rams have so many holes, though, that they need damn near everyone they pick to be able to play right now. 3 years from now, though, we might look back on this draft and say, holy crap, it looks amazing for the Rams. That's why I don't give grades. And by the way, as for everybody get picked today, whether it be for the Rams, the Chargers, be fortunate if any of them start. Day 3, to me, I like to call it crash test dummy day. If you get a starter, if you get a solid contributor, congrats. Most of them are on the periphery of the rosters. Meanwhile, the Bolts draft continues to make a lot of sense. Credit where it's due. I love logical drafts. You don't have to agree with the scribes. Just make a case to me for who you took, where you took him. Yesterday, 2 days ago, I would have preferred the Chargers took a tight end. But again, logical. I can see why the Bolts chose a deep threat wide receiver. They come back at round 2. The Chargers take Tui Pelotu of USC as a backup edge rusher in case either Joey Bosa or Khalil Mack get hurt. And the odds of that are happening are high. Let's be real. Let's be real with ourselves. Now, CBS did not like the pick because they don't think Tui Pelotu has the, quote, body type. Okay, fine. I do know this. He led the nation in sacks in college last year, so there's that. The Chargers also did solid work late in the third round with linebacker Deion Henley of Washington State. He is described as a complete defender who should be a starter. That's what I'm talking about. Immediate contributors in the first 3 rounds. Henley can also cover the slot or weak side linebacker. Say the Chargers go 3 down linemen. Don't be surprised to see Eric Kendricks shift inside and Henley jump in on the weak side. Don't be surprised if in a couple of years you see Henley guarding every elite tight end. That's what they're talking about. The only knock I have on the Chargers draft thus far is where's the tight end? Talked about it a moment ago. So is that catastrophic to the Chargers draft? Of course not. Of course not. But the player that I thought would be a good idea, Michael Mayer, went to the Raiders. That's what I'm talking about. That pick too, by the way, no matter how much you love or hate the Raiders, extremely logical. Vegas's tight end situation was not optimal without Darren Waller. Problem solved. The Bolts offensive coordinator, by the way, loves tight ends. So like I said, not catastrophic, but it would have been better if they had found a way to land Mayer with the Bolts. Also with the Bolts, they picked up Justin Herbert's 5th-year option on his rookie contract. It is a fine pay raise. It'll bump him up to $29.5 million. They had to do so by Tuesday. The only problem I have with them doing this is the longer they wait for his new deal, the numbers are likely going to continue to rise. So the problem is not necessarily solved. Regarding local colleges, Zach Charbonnet was selected by the Seattle Seahawks, which I have to be honest with you, that was a little curious. The Seahawks already have an every down back in Kenneth Walker III. They still need a backup running back, though. Rashad Penny is gone. So it's not a terrible pick. I honestly think Charbonnet would be a welcome addition to damn near any team in the NFL. But there's that. For the local colleges overall, this is pretty much what you're getting, what we were talking about prior to the draft. There was one Bruin taken, Charbonnet, 3 Trojans taken in the first couple of days. Addison Tuipulotu, the third USC player was cornerback Mekhi Blackmon, who was a compensatory pick for Minnesota, which was technically after round 3, but it damn sure ain't round 4. So I'll call it a day 2 pick. Honestly, I thought Blackmon would be a day 3 pick because sometimes war rooms are about oddities. His hands aren't big enough. He doesn't have long enough arms. Like Tuipulotu, he doesn't have the body type, blah, 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 right? But I have to be frank with you. I don't have a problem with them taking Blackmon at the end of day 3. The dude's a ball hawk. He's a playmaker. He could wind up starting for the Vikings. So I'm cool with the guy. Absolutely. NHL.com reports that at Kings practice on Friday, Anze Kopitar centered the line with Adrian Kempe and Victor Arvidsson, which puts LA's 3 most productive players together for the first time in the series. The top line used to include Quinton Byfield. Byfield was dropped to the 3rd line. Also, Blake Lizotte has missed the last 3 games, but he, in practice yesterday, centered a 4th line with Carl Grundstrom and Rasmus Kupari. Things got a little awkward earlier in the series. There were some angry Kings fans who heckled a girl who likes the Edmonton Oilers. A little girl. Even worse, a girl with brain cancer. Not exactly a shining moment for LA sports fans such as myself. You heckled a kid, guys. Can't do that. But I will say this. Other LA Kings fans heard about the story, stepped up, and donated to help the girl out with her medical bills. There's that. An NBA executive says Austin Reeves appeals to, quote, literally every team, unquote, as a free agent. Reeves says he wants to stay with the Lakers. The team feels mutual, but let's be real, there's going to be a bidding war, and it's obvious. You could draw the parallels between Reeves and Alex Caruso. And who wound up leaving the Lakers in free agency? Exactly, Alex Caruso. So there is a problem there that the Lakers are going to have to figure out to solve at the end of their season. Fortunately, their season's still going on. JD Martinez was put on the injured list by the Dodgers with lower back tightness. He has not played since Sunday. He has 4 home runs this year, but he's hitting only .250. It is possible that the Dodgers thought he would go on the IL, and that's why they promoted Michael Busch, the ultra-hitting prospect that they couldn't find a position for. Either way, the kid is going to get some steady at-bats for a little while. So, see what kind of debut he's going to get. Meanwhile, catcher Will Smith was reinstated. Smith had a concussion and missed 13 games. Max Muncy and reliever Brizidar Gratterall were also reinstated. They didn't have a concussion, but if you have a bunch of kids like they are about to have, you'll get a headache or two. But seriously, folks. But let me know what you think in the comments thread about the NFL draft so far, particularly for the Rams and the Chargers, or for that matter, USC and UCLA. If you enjoyed talking LA sports with me, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We're talking LA sports every single day here. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back later tonight with a Galaxy Rapid recap. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Corte El Queso production. Take care.